Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, the Manga Man here. Today we're talking about One Piece chapter 1011 or 1011. Naturally the video is a bit late, being that the actual translation I got a link for was around about 8:30 UK time in the morning, but due to working commitments it wasn't feasible for me to be able to make a video at that time. But now that I've finished work, done my bits and bobs, here I am making a video. So I will try to keep this short and sweet, but I will mention that Tekken 101 and Soy 7 Mage are, if you want some detail in your videos and you're willing to wait a long time to watch those videos, as in they extended for a long time, 30 minutes plus, check them out. I always recommend them. I'm a fan myself. But this will be short and sweet, so without further ado, let's get into this review. So, a lot happens, but a lot doesn't happen at the same time in this chapter. What this chapter ultimately does, it kind of gives us a reminder of where certain people are in the structure of the story, where they are in terms of their fights, and it kind of just reminds us of that, as we have been getting sprinkles of in the last couple of chapters that have not been on the roof. So let's kind of go through the chain of events that happens and ultimately what plot points have been answered, what more plot points are kind of being established, and let's kind of go through things like that. So let's start off with the obvious one. Big Mom basically has created a new homie made out of pure lightning, and she's called Hera, who supposedly is the wife and sister of Zeus. So thematically, it falls in line with all the other, the Norse mythology and the Greek and Roman mythology and everything else in between, with her naming conventions. And her, I'm assuming the homie being female, being the counterpart to Zeus, ultimately doesn't mean well for Zeus, but we'll get to that. So we essentially get what ultimately is a flex and a thunder attack that basically makes a hole in the roof and sends essentially Kid and Killer running or falling, and Big Mom soon following through. At the same time, because of this attack, the power that essentially the metal forming around Zeus is broken through, and Zeus breaks out, and essentially this is where Lord does his shambles and takes himself, Zoro, Kid Killer, Zeus essentially into the tower to a certain degree. Now, what this ultimately means is this leaves Luffy and Kaido to kind of dish it out, and this is kind of going to be that refinement period for Luffy to really implement what he's just learned, kind of did how he did with the Katakuri fight. So this is going to be an evolution of his haki in this death match where he's going to be fighting Kaido. So that's essentially where that ends. We don't really see much. There's that clash between the club and the kick, which seems to, from what we see, we don't really see much. The outcome, it seems to be balanced, and it's reminiscent of the whole Whitebeard Roger fight. That being said, let's move things on. Kid and Killer are separated from Big Mom. They seem to be somewhere between floor 2 and floor 3 based on the diagram. It's not specified, but around abouts there. And they need to get to Big Mom, but they are intercepted by Hawkins, who they have their own banter and conversation. And ultimately all it is Hawkins knew that his chance of survival was very slim against Kaido, so he sided with Kaido. Apu already betrayed them, so mentioning his name means at some point he's going to become relevant again in the remainder of this arc, even though we've seen him in bits. But Killer basically says he's going to fight Hawkins, which gives Kid the opportunity to go and find Big Mom. There's a conversation about probability where essentially he's saying there's a 92% chance of Killer dying. Killer doesn't care. He goes, I take fate into my own hands, and very manly and macho of him. But with the fighting that he's been doing up there, it's going to be a tough, high diff fight for him. So moving things along, we then catch up with what Usopp and Nami and Otama have been up to, and they're still getting chased by Ulti and Page 1, and Page 1 seems to be on them. And you see Otama's mentality here. She's basically saying, look, we just need to get to the live floor. I've used so many Kibidongos now that at this point, ultimately, I should be able to control a lot of these people, and then I don't care what happens after that. I've done my bit. So there's some MVP level makings here. She might make the play of the game, basically. So page 1 is obviously attacking, and you can see, there's like interactions galore here. And Usopp still being a coward, he's attacking. He does this attack that's meant to be a range attack, which looked hella cool. I actually want to see that animated. And it doesn't do anything to Page 1. Probably damages his body, but not as much, because they're very durable. He's probably in a awakened zone. And just when things don't seem to be getting any worse, they're at their worst, Big Mom turns up looking for Kid, and lo and behold, the mom part of the Big is there. And ultimately, there's a mode that she has called Smothering Mom, where she's nice to kids that are 10 years old and under, which we have seen in the Whole Cake Island. Now, she's not very friendly to her older kids, but her younger kids she is. And she's being nice to Otama, and she's enraged that they devastated her hometown because they were so nice to her. And then Paige was like, hold it, we can obviously, because Page 1 thinks Big Mom's on their side. Big Mom is on her own side. She's a toddler and she makes up her own mind very quickly. You feed me, you nice to me, you my friend, I help. That's kind of the logic there. And we get this attack where Page 1 is down very easily, has haki, has Conqueror's haki, essentially showing you that basically she's doing the same thing Kaido does, and she's at that same level that they're fighting at as well. That being said, this also, we get to see that Kid has realized where Big Mom is, as well as Zeus. So this will hopefully reunite all these lot. We might find out the outcome, what's going to happen with Zeus in the next chapter. Speaking of the next chapter, break next week because of Golden Week. So the next time you're going to get a video from me or a review is going to be in 2 weeks time for One Piece. That being said, without further ado, I'll see you next time. Peace.